How we doing, Woolies? We're here with the 2024 March Madness show. I'm here with
Chris,
Cole,
Riley, and Marcus.
and my name's Tal. I'll be your host today. We're going to go over what regions we have first. Chris, what region do you have?
Well, I got the South.
I got the West.
I got the Midwest. And I have the East.
All right, so what are your top teams from your region?
Well, I think the big one, obviously, is Houston, top of the seed. They're 30-4. I think they got a great team. But there's also some other teams I think they can sneak in there, like Marquette, they're 25-9, and in Kentucky, they're 23-9. So I think there's a lot of good variety in the South. So there's a lot of teams you can pick from. But personally, my pick is Houston to win it all in the South.
In the West, I got North Carolina. I really like what North Carolina's doing over there. They got a nice little point guard you got to watch out for. We'll discuss in a little bit. But I got North Carolina. I also got Arizona. So I know Arizona has had its struggles, in the past in the tournament, but I think Arizona's a good little pick this year. Watch out for them. So I'm going to go Arizona, North Carolina.
Yeah, you got the number 1 seed, Purdue. You got Tennessee at 2, and then you have Kansas at 4 and Utah State. I got Tennessee winning it all against Kansas, but Kansas is definitely the upset team, I think.
In the East, there's the favorites, UConn. They were the champs last year. They're the 1 seed this year. But there's some pretty good teams in the East Conference as well, with Illinois being a 3 seed, and then Auburn, who a lot of people are talking about, the 4 seed. But I think UConn is another level above all these teams. And I think they won't have much difficulty getting out of the East. And I think they could go all the way to championship and go back to back.
All right, so the next question we're going to go with, what is the sleeper team in your region?
Well, for me in the South, my sleeper team is NC State. They're the 11th seed, but and they're over the 6th seed, Texas State, and they won their last 5 to win the ACC tournament. I think they got really good momentum right now, and I think if there's any team in the South that can upset over a big team, I think it's them.
I got Dayton. I don't really know much about Dayton. I do know last year they were, I believe, first-round exits, but they do have an easy matchup. First round, but the rest of the way it's going to be looking kind of tough, but I do have Dayton making a good little run in the March Madness tournament this year.
Yeah, I got Kansas at 4. I mean, they're not a top 3 or a top 2 team, but I think they deserve to be up there. I put them over to the 3rd team, and I think they're going to make it.
As I was saying about the East, Auburn, they're a 4 seed. A lot of people are talking about them like a really good team, and I think Auburn would be the only competition for UConn in the East, and so I would not be surprised if Auburn was able to knock out UConn and make it to the Final Four.
Yeah, and for me, a sleeper team just throughout the whole bracket. I'm gonna have to go with the Oregon Ducks. They barely squeaked into the tournament, but hot streak. They won the Pac-12. And they're coming in the tournament very hot. So, next question we're gonna go with is, what's an upset potential in your region?
Like I said with me in the South, I just think NC State, even though the 11th, they have something about them. They won the ACC. They're going against Texas Tech at 6, but I think there's got in them to get over that hump and get to the next round.
Yeah, for me, I got maybe a little bit surprising one. Also, I got Colgate over Baylor for an upset. I know, Baylor, I think looking at the 3 seed this year, watching them in the past, they have blown a couple decent games. So, again, I don't know much about Colgate, but Colgate over Baylor. So, yeah.
I got Utah State in their first game winning it, and I know they're in that middle of the pack type thing, but I think they have the first game. They have some pretty good solid players on their team.
In the East, I think there are 2 upsets that are possible. 10 seed Drake upsetting 7 seed Washington State. I just feel like I heard a lot of people talking about Drake, and I feel like they have the potential to beat the 7 seed Washington State. 10 versus 7 is a pretty close matchup, but Drake's a lower seed. I think they'll do it. And then the other upset, 11 seed Duquesne beating 6 seed BYU. I don't know, Duquesne just it's just a feeling, 11 versus 6. I think they have the potential to also upset BYU.
Yeah, and a potential upset for me. Tell your uncle, tell your cousins, tell everybody you know. The Sanford Bulldogs will beat the Kansas Jayhawks. Kansas, banged up team. They already have a very small rotation. Sanford Bulldogs going to come in. They're going to beat them. 100% guaranteed. Tell your uncles, tell your cousins, tell anybody you know. Next question we got is a player to watch from your region.
I got 2 of them. My first one, Jamal Sheed. He's on Houston. He's a senior, and he's a guard. Yeah, I just think this guy's an offensive powerhouse on Houston. It's his first year there. So I think he's been doing great things this year. He won the ACC DPOY last year, so obviously he's already proven himself as a defensive player, and he has this year. And I think as a senior, he's just going to put his all into this year. He's going to try to win the big one, so that's my guy. And I got another guy, Rob Dillenhall in Kentucky, this freshman guard off the bench. This guy's something else. 15.4, like I said, off the bench, and he can just shoot it. He can do in the post. He can do it all, man. I think this guy's something special to watch in the tournament.
Yeah, in the West, I got Armando Baycott. He's a senior. I've been watching him play for a couple years now. He's having one of the best seasons college basketball that has ever seen. He has 16 points this season as a big, and he's averaging 13 rebounds a game, which is one of the best college rebounding seasons someone's ever have. And I got another one, his buddy on the same team, R.J. Davis. He's an undersized point guard at 6 feet tall, but he has been shooting it really well this year. I believe a couple weeks ago he had he dropped 40 points against Miami or something to end the season strong. And my third guy, I don't know how much you guys know about Caleb Love, but Caleb Love went to North Carolina last year. He transferred to Arizona. He's out for blood. He definitely wants to beat his former team. Arizona's sitting at the 2, and North Carolina at the 1, so it's very high likely that they play each other later on in the tournament. Caleb Love is averaging 18.1 points a game, and he's going to want to beat his former team, North Carolina, so I can't wait to see him.
Yeah, coming from Tennessee, I got Dalton Connect. He's averaging 20 per game. It's that guy that leads that team to the win every year, so I think he's going to do it.
In the East, UConn's Donovan Clingan, I think he's going to be very important for them because he's second in points on the UConn squad. He's the leader in rebounds. He's the rebound in blocks. But he's not the best free throw shooter at around 50%. But I think if he locks in, steps up his game, he could be a game changer for UConn getting through the tournament.
Yeah, a play to watch for me is from 12 seed Grand Canyon, Tyon Grant Foster. He's not on a very good team, but they could go dancing, and if they do, it'd be ran through Tyon. So should have a good tournament, I think. Next question we're going to go with is, what is your Final Four?
All right, my Final Four. In the East, I got, who else but UConn. In the South, I got my guys Houston. In the West, I have Arizona. And in the Midwest, I got Tennessee.
Yeah, I got in the East, I got UConn. In the West, I got North Carolina. I think UConn versus North Carolina is going to be such a good game. And in the other side, I got South, Houston, and Purdue in the Midwest. Houston versus Purdue, also a good matchup.
Yeah, I got Houston too. I got UConn, I got Kansas, and it's a hard one. They're pretty good teams out there, but I don't know. We'll see.
Yeah, I think UConn's getting to the Final Four. I think UNC's going to get to the Final Four. Both really good teams. And I think in the South, I'd say I take Houston. And then in the Midwest, I think I take Purdue. Really good
All
teams.
number 1 seeds right there. That's a terrible pick. Yeah, so now let's go to your final matchup.
I don't know. My final matchup, I'll say maybe... Well, first, I'd say maybe UConn versus Houston. I know they're both the 1 seed. It might be a terrible pick like you said, but these teams are just the best in the whole tournament. And I think if they play at their best, no one can stop them. So I think they're eventually going to meet up with each other in the finals.
Yeah, Tyler's calling us crazy, for giving I know it's unlikely. I know a lot of upsets happen, but I think UConn obviously going to go back to the championship this year. But I also got Purdue. They got first round exit last year. That was embarrassing to watch. So I do believe we're gonna have 2 1-seed matchups in the championship game this year, and I am excited to see that game. And I got UConn going back to back though over Purdue. So
I'm gonna go have to say UConn too. They're almost every year great team, but I have Tennessee with them there, meeting them there, and I think they're gonna win it all.
Yeah, my final, I have to agree with Cole. UConn versus Purdue. Obviously, I think UConn doesn't really have any competition in the East, and then Purdue, they're out for blood. Getting knocked out by a 16 seed the year before was not great for them. Pretty embarrassing for the talent they have on their team. But I think if they lock in, they can get to the final. But I think UConn's going to be overall the champion of March Madness.
Yeah, I think my championship is going to have to be Creighton versus UConn. I mean, UConn's just such a good fundamental team. They're definitely 100% the best team in the whole tournament. But, Creighton, same conference in the Big East, and definitely a great game if Creighton and UConn meet each other. So, thank you for watching our March Madness show for 2024. Hopefully we help you fill out your bracket and have a good March Madness.